I'm Erica Swan, 38, an ophthalmologist in Green Bay, and I found out my engagement was over in my own dining room, with 3 gift bags still sitting on the sideboard. It was a Sunday, 6:14 p.m. I know that because the oven clock was 2 minutes fast, and my daughter Nora had asked me twice when we could have cake. My son, Caleb, 10, was building a card tower at the far end of the table. Nora had just turned 8 that week. She was still wearing the silver birthday headband her friend, Ava, gave her, bent slightly where she'd hugged too many people. My fiancé, Grant Mercer, was across from me with his usual calm face. His daughter, Tessa, 11, was on the couch scrolling on her phone, while Grant's mother, Denise, pretended to help stack plates and actually listened to everything. I was going over birthday receipts because I had that itchy feeling again. The one where your brain starts counting before your mouth catches up. "Wait," I said. "This venue invoice has 4,180. Grant didn't even look embarrassed. He took a sip of sparkling water and said, "That's for Tessa's party." Nora looked up. "What?" I kept my voice level. "And Nora's was what?" He shrugged. "About 300. My hands went cold. Nora's party had been cupcakes at my house, paper lanterns from Target, pizza, a movie projector in the backyard, and a sleepover for 3 girls. She loved it. I thought we'd agreed on small because we were being fair. I turned the page. "You told me both girls had the same budget." Grant finally looked at me like I was being difficult in a meeting. "They didn't have the same budget. They don't have the same circumstances." I stared at him. "Explain that." He set his glass down carefully. "Tessa is used to a certain lifestyle." Nora had gone quiet. Caleb stopped touching the cards. I asked, "And my daughter is used to what exactly?" Grant actually sighed. "Erica, don't make this ugly. That line. Calm. Reasonable. Cruel." Denise stepped in with her soft church voice. "Honey, blended families work better when everyone accepts reality." I could feel Nora watching my face like it was the weather report. Grant leaned back in his chair and said the sentence that ended us. "Your daughter's birthday gets 300. My daughter's gets 4,000. That's just how it is." Nora blinked hard. Caleb looked at me and said, "Very quietly, Mom." My mouth went dry. My brain counted everything at once. The invoice, the lie, the pattern, the kids hearing it, the fact that he said it in front of them because he thought he was right. Denise added, "Tessa has expectations. Nora is still little. She doesn't need all that." Nora took off the silver headband and set it beside her plate like she'd suddenly become older in one motion. I didn't scream. I said, "Take your mother and go home. The engagement is over." People always ask if that was impulsive. It wasn't. It was late. I'd been swallowing things for almost 2 years. I'm an ophthalmologist. I work long hours, precise hours, the kind where mistakes matter. I like facts, numbers, clean edges. Grant sold medical equipment and loved talking about synergy, which should have warned me more than it did. We met at a hospital fundraiser in Appleton. He was charming, polished, widowed, and very good at acting like hierarchy was just practicality in a nice blazer. At first, it was small. The first time, it was Christmas. I bought equal stockings for all 3 kids. Same size, same stuff, same candy, same gift cards. Grant laughed when he saw them and said, "Cute, but Tessa's real stocking is in the car." Real. He brought in a giant monogrammed velvet one from Pottery Barn, filled with AirPods, skincare, Sephora gift cards, and concert tickets. Caleb noticed first. He looked at his own stocking, then at Tessa's, then at me. He didn't complain. He just got quieter. Later, I told Grant that couldn't happen again. He kissed my forehead and said, "You're overthinking. Tessa had a different life." That phrase came back a lot. Different life, different standards, different needs. The second time was spring break planning. I suggested Wisconsin Dells. All 3 kids. 1 house, simple and easy. Grant said Tessa would be bored. Then he booked a father-daughter weekend in Scottsdale for just the two of them, and called it quality time. My kids stayed with me while I worked 3 shifts that week and rearranged childcare. When Nora asked why they got to go on a plane, Grant smiled and said, "Maybe next time, Peanut." There was never a next time. The third time was worse because it taught my kids how the system worked. At dinner one night, Denise handed out envelopes. Inside Tessa's was a check for $2,500 for summer experiences. Caleb got a Packers hoodie. Nora got a craft kit from the clearance aisle with a sales sticker still on it. Denise said, "Girls her age don't need cash." Caleb said, "I'm older than the Tessa gift card hoodie age." Nobody laughed. I used to tell myself it was temporary. Adjustment stuff, blending stuff, rich family, weirdness. I told myself once we were married, I'd have more standing to set rules. I was wrong. The family language was always the same. Be flexible. Don't make a scene. Family helps. Not everything has to be equal. Life isn't fair. Funny how life isn't fair only ever flowed downhill toward my kids. I hate admitting this, but I tried to manage it quietly. I covered gaps myself. I bought duplicates. I upgraded Caleb's school laptop after Grant bought Tessa a new MacBook for her future. I paid for Nora's dance lessons after Denise paid for Tessa's private shopping trip in Chicago. My kids noticed anyway. Children always notice the temperature of a room. Caleb adapted by becoming useful. He carried bags, cleared plates, asked for less. Nora adapted by making herself easy. She'd say things like, "Mine can be small," before anyone even offered. The first time I realized she was shrinking, we were at a restaurant in Door County. Dessert menus came. Tessa ordered creme brulee, a chocolate torte, and an affogato because she couldn't decide. Nora put her menu down and said, "Water is okay." She was 7. I thought it was temporary. It wasn't. After the birthday dinner, Grant started calling before he even got out of my driveway. I let it ring 6 times. Then Denise. Then Grant again. Then texts. "You're emotional." The kids misunderstood. "You know I love them. Don't throw away a family over one comment." One comment. Not the invoices, not the lies, not the years. One comment. The next morning, I opened our shared planning folder and started pulling records. Tessa's Suite 11 venue deposit, $1,500. Balloon install, $620. Custom cake, $410. 10 pesos dependencic. Photo booth, $480. Gift table styling, $300. Party favors, $220. Then, Nora's. Cupcakes from Festival Foods, $46. Pizza, $71. Decorations, $38. Movie projector rental. Borrowed from my friend Lisa. Sleepover bags, I paid cash. Grant had told me both girls got around 1,000 each. He hadn't just preferred his child. He had lied about the numbers so I would participate in it. When I asked for an explanation by text, he called instead. I answered once. "Give me a concrete answer," I said. "Why did you tell me they had the same budget?" He went straight to offense. "Because I knew you'd react like this." That isn't an answer. Because Tessa's mother's family have standards. There are expectations on my side. I can't present less for her. Present. I wrote it down. "And Nora?" I asked. Silence. Then, Nora had a nice birthday. I ended the call. Wave 2 started by Tuesday. Denise emailed me a long message about social parity and not confusing the children with artificial sameness. She attached a spreadsheet, which was such a bizarre level of confidence I almost admired it. One column was literally labeled appropriate investment, Tessa, wardrobe, travel, events, enrichment, Caleb, practical gifts, Nora, age-appropriate modest celebrations. Modest. There it was, in Excel. Then Grant sent a jewelry courier to my office for the engagement ring appraisal. Not a question, a pickup request. I told my receptionist to refuse it. That afternoon, Caleb asked, "Are we still moving into Grant's house this summer?" I said no. He nodded once and said, "Okay." Then he went upstairs and shut his door. Nora asked the harder question. Was I the cheap kid? That one nearly put me on the floor. I sat with her on the couch while she held a blanket over her knees, even though it wasn't cold. "No," I said. "You were the kid in a room with people who thought money meant worth." She leaned into me and whispered, "I heard him. I know. Did you hear Grandma Denise say I don't need all that?" "Yes." Nora picked at the blanket seam. "I want it to be easy." That sentence did something permanent to me. That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. I exported the emails, saved the invoices, took screenshots of the texts, backed up the shared budget folder, sent copies to my personal account and to my attorney, who had handled my divorce years earlier, and replied with exactly one line: "Do not marry this man." By Wednesday, I had canceled the florist, the venue consult, the catering tasting, and the save-the-date design proof. By Thursday, I had changed the house alarm code. By Friday, I'd booked 3 tickets to Italy for spring break. Because my kids had passports, I had miles, and I suddenly understood that if I didn't give them one clean memory fast, this would sit in them like rust. Rome for 3 nights, Florence for 4. No announcement, no explanation, just a quiet exit. We left on a Saturday. Green Bay to Chicago. Chicago to Rome. I turned my phone to airplane mode before takeoff and didn't turn it back on until we were in the rental apartment near Piazza Navona, after Caleb had claimed the pull-out bed and Nora had stood at the window whispering, "Mom, it smells like pizza outside." That week was not magical in the fake movie way. It was better. It was ordinary. In a place none of us had been. Nora got tomato sauce on 2 shirts. Caleb became weirdly passionate about church ceilings. I drank espresso standing up and let my children order dessert without checking the price first. We walked until our legs hurt. We took 1 photo, the last night in Florence. A stranger offered. Sunset behind us, all 3 of us squinting and windblown on the Ponte Santa Trinita. Caleb looked taller. Nora looked lit from inside. I posted it with no caption. That was all. By the time we got back to the apartment, I had 118 missed calls in 5 hours. Grant, Denise, 2 unknown numbers, Grant's sister, my future former mother-in-law's church friend for some reason, even Tessa once, which I did not return because none of this was her fault. Then Nora, sitting cross-legged on the bed beside me, saw the photo and grinned. "Can I comment?" "Yes." She typed with 1 finger. "The best trip of my life. Pizza emoji." 23 seconds later, Denise replied. Not to me. To Nora. It was so long Instagram cut it into sections. 24 minutes of typing, according to the tiny marker that kept appearing and disappearing, before it finally posted. It was about family loyalty, respect, gratitude, appearances, pain you have caused. Some children are given opportunities because their parents understand how the world works. Healing this rupture with humility. Humility to an 8-year-old. I screenshotted the whole thing. Then I sent a group message to Grant, Denise, and my attorney. "Do not contact my children again. All future communication goes through me in writing." Grant called instantly. I answered once. He was furious now, not polished. "You're humiliating us online." I looked at Nora, eating gelato out of the carton with hotel spoons, because we were out of bowls. "No," I said. "You did that at my table. Delete the post." "No." Mom was trying to explain. She wrote an essay at a child. He actually said, "Nora needs to understand adult structure." That was the last useful sentence he ever gave me. I said, "The ring will be returned by insured courier on Monday. Do not come to my house." Then I hung up. He did come. My neighbor texted me a ring screenshot the day after we landed back in Wisconsin. Grant at my front door, Denise and Pearls beside him. Grant pounding, Denise looking injured for the camera. I didn't answer. My attorney sent a formal cease and desist by 3:40 p.m. I removed Grant from every shared account, every school pickup form, every emergency contact field, every calendar. Irreversible is a beautiful word when used correctly. Peace did not arrive like a movie. It came in little domestic pieces. Caleb started asking for things again. Not big things. Extra bacon, new cleats, a second museum stop because he liked old, creepy paintings. Nora had her 9th birthday 3 months later. She asked for homemade lasagna, 6 friends, and a pottery class. At the end of the night, she hugged me and said, "This one felt even." I had to go into the pantry for a minute after that. Grant tried one last tactic in June. A white gift bag on my porch. No note from him, just a card from Denise with a $500 boutique certificate for Nora and a matching one for Tessa, like symmetry could fix contempt. I mailed both back, unopened. Then a voicemail. "We're family." I listened once, saved it, and deleted it from my inbox. They were never upset about losing me. They were upset about losing access to my compliance. That's the part people should say louder. The final boundary was simple. Written. Boring. Effective. No visits. No gifts. No direct contact with my children. No exceptions for holidays. Denise sent one more email about forgiveness. I replied with one sentence. Access to me is not a family right. That was 10 months ago. Now it's Green Bay again. Early spring. I'm back to clinic, school drop-offs, soccer, orthodontist consults, Nora singing in the back seat, Caleb pretending not to sing with her. Our life is not luxurious. It is calm. That's worth more. The moral, at least for me, is simple. The first time someone explains your child's lower value like it's common sense, believe them the first time. Don't negotiate from inside their hierarchy. Don't teach your kids to perform for fairness. Love that ranks children is not love. So, here are the conclusions I've drawn. I hope you'll find them useful too. If someone ranks children by worth, get out. That's not a phase. That's who they are. It'll be better after the wedding is the most expensive lie you'll ever tell yourself. Covering the gaps quietly doesn't fix the problem. It just makes it invisible longer. Watch how a man treats your kids when he thinks you've already accepted it. Calm is not the same as kind. Grant was always calm. He was never kind. They weren't upset about losing me. They were upset about losing my silence. Learn to tell the difference. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.